Hello and welcome to the second Spy Party cast of 2019. With me are our casters, two of the best in the business, Warning Track and Toboshi. Why don't you both say hi?
Hello, everybody!
Hello, good to be here. Very exciting.
Yes. And why don't we just get right into it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
We've been waiting for months and months since the season ended to get some more Spy Party casting going. I see no reason to delay that, even with this sentence right now. I apologize.
You're delaying it right now. So
Yeah, my
our
bad.
first matchup is JY against Cartwright. Am I getting that correctly?
I think that's third, right? Yeah, in ascending order here.
I
Wait, is
thought
that-
it was third.
is that
Yeah,
third?
Hunu and Turnip Boy first, I believe. Yeah.
Oh, did I? Oh, I think I gave you the inverted. Turn Up Boy is last. We're starting with the JY, and then
Fair
ending
enough.
with Hunu. Okay,
Understood.
Got it.
yeah. So I know that you have all those notes ready for Turn Up Boy, and now they're going to be
Oh, I'm
useless.
totally thrown off my game. This is a
Yeah.
huge mess, but that's okay. We'll make the best of it. It'll be chaotic, but it always is, and it's always fun.
It is. All right, so let's just get right through these bands. JY bans Ballroom, sure. And then Cartwright bans Balcony, which is just abysmal. JY picks High Rise, if I can find it on this list. High Rise. And then Cartwright replies with Gallery, which I don't know if that's a good map or not. I'm still on the fence on that.
Keep us posted.
After that is Courtyard, and then finally rounding it out is my favorite new map, Tien.
Yeah.
Tien.
Tan, yeah. This is interesting. JY either didn't ban Ballroom last season or maybe only banned it once. I'd have to check to be sure. But picking High Rise, very on brand for JY. Picked it 5 times last season, tied for first among their favorite maps, and Courtyard was tied for second. So these are the maps JY liked to play last season, not mixing it up a lot here against Cartwright.
It's going to be very interesting to see how Tien incorporates itself into the SCL meta, because we already know people have opinions about it, but
You gotta have to have some kind of opinion about it. The one thing nothing feels about Tayen is nothing.
Yep.
yeah.
I
It
think
is a very unusual map, and it is, I believe, our first spy-favored map.
Ooh. Sharp
I think there's a decent chance of that. Yeah, we have a lot of venues that are sort of right around 50-50. Ballroom famously has been right around 50-50 throughout all the seasons it's been played. We've ended individual seasons, for example, where Balcony was maybe even a little bit of spy favored, but sometimes that feels more random than balanced, let's say. Tan, on the other hand, maybe a little random, but it might be our first genuinely, consistently spy favored map. We will see.
Either way, getting ready to get this show on the road. JY opening up the night on the spy side of High Rise, any 3 of 5. Cartwright on the sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And JY won about half his games on High Rise as spy last year, but only 38% of his sniper games.
Starting off at the statues, we do indeed have Inspect on. We do not have Transfer, we do not have Swap, we do not have Purloin.
Yeah, Purloin is the only one people ever really consider leaving on in High Rise 3.5.
Keeping a good distance away from the Ambassador there, but still having a little bit of a weird path in at the end there.
Yeah, and this is a solid way to start. You know, you're not committing to anything. You're not done with inspects. You know, you can maybe go to, any statue set late if you need to, except that same one, of course. But you don't have to commit to a center statue or rush or anything like that. Just give yourself some options later. You have a lot of time on High Rise 3.5. Frankly, a little too much, a little more than you need. So no reason to rush it. No reason to be too aggressive.
Green Test gives us 25% on the first flirt is not something you hear very often, but this is a map, as you were saying, with a lot of time available, so you absolutely have enough on the clock to take these weird long con sorts of moves. Stepping in to get a fingerprint off of the blue bookshelf and takes a highlight for it, so Next fingerprint is going to have to be real stealthy if we're going to pull this off.
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, a little easier to miss certain types of fingerprints than others, and you could just go for a difficult, bank your game on that. Still plenty of time, but it's very telling that Cartwright is that on it already.
Just under 2 minutes to play. Second flirt comes through, a white to bring us to 59%. We have the one fingerprint, we have the two inspects.
Well, you knew with that first flirt that one of the others was going to have to be green if you didn't want a 4 flirt. It's not going to be this one. It's going to have to be that last one, though. And if it has to be one or the other, you want it to be the earlier one so you can plan around it and know that a close flirt will do it. Now you don't know that. Could throw your plans into disarray late in the game.
Oh, there's a risky, spooky-looking bug, but it wounds up working out. That is one mission done. And JY's got some options here about what else to do.
Now, it's a little tricky because Cartwright probably knows they don't have to shoot. Inspect isn't done and there's been no banana bread. So it's entirely possible that they're onto the bug, but I don't think so. I didn't see a lot of reaction from the camera.
1 minute. There's the third flirt. Hits a close green. So even with that big distance on the first flirt, hits it in 3.
And there's a fingerprint on that statue, but that simultaneously completes fingerprint and inspect. I think that might be a little risky. It's very likely the sniper's going to notice one of those.
We might have to wait until the ambassador goes back to bookcase and... No, he just puts it back, so there's a fingerprint hot on blue bookcase once again.
It would be their third
Banana
trip
bread.
to the same bookcase. They're going to go banana bread instead. I think it's a smarter
Takes the
play.
contact.
He's thinking about it.
Slowly. There it is. There's the shot.
Wow.
And Cartwright picks up game number 1.
Now, the tentativeness of that shot really makes me think that bug was either not seen or really just suspected. I don't think they could have been sure of the bug and waited that long to shoot. The tentativeness of the later seems to tell the story. It's entirely possible that they just suspected it. It's also possible, and this is very reasonable, when you're tracking fingerprints, you think maybe I missed one. Maybe I missed a difficult.
Oh my god, I just went back and looked at the bug and it was incredible.
Yeah. I don't see a lot of evidence that Cartwright nailed him on that. You might just be suspicious of the path, but again, it's also reasonable to credit a fingerprint. If it just seems like it really fits, it seems like the spy, and you're just asking yourself, did I miss one little thing? Yes or no? That is the kind of humility you have to win a well-played spy game as sniper, and that's what Cartwright did here. It's a very impressive shot, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Beautiful,
particularly if they didn't see the bug. Yeah.
But it wasn't enough.
No, it wasn't enough. But if they didn't see the bug, then that in particular is a veteran shot.
Yeah. Cartwright stepping into the spy side. Once again, same mission layout. No transfer, no swap, no purloin. JY on the sniper in the second game. In 3, 2, 1, play it.
Same mission setup, and it, again, pretty standard. There are a lot of arguments on pub, for example, about what to leave on when you go to the 3-5 variant, but on high rise, it's maybe leave on purloin if you like to rush that last mission, but generally speaking, this is the loadout.
3 people at the painting. That is not a very big pad to have 3 on it. But he does pick up the flirt from it for 34%.
And I was saying earlier, you don't have to be aggressive on flirt. I think that's sort of like a habit, right? There are so many setups where it kind of makes sense to jam in there. You're not giving up a lot, being obvious about the flirt like that. I just don't think you need to do it here, and it gets the sniper potentially onto you early.
Double agent is nice and steps into conversation with us, but there's, I think, probably too many people outside of conversation right now to warrant the banana bread. We've got plenty of time on the clock still. We can wait for something better.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to get a better chance, but you got to be careful. I want to get it done before that last minute almost any time I can, unless I'm really desperate to induce a shot, because you just don't know if you're going to get a good opportunity after that, and a bad banana bread on high rise like this is death.
Stepping into blue bookcase to pick up the fingerprint.
Deja vu.
He first caught JY on.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Early fingerprint at the same blue bookshelf after an early flirt. And not a great one, an okay one here.
No clear reaction from JY, but he is a different style of sniper. Very well could be paying attention to it. Green test on the second flirt, 85% is where we stand there. Under 2 minutes to play.
Banana bread.
Contact comes off. I think the seduction target was out of conversation there along with the others, but no low light on him yet. Stepping in to finish up this flirt, not standing too close because we don't need to. Minute
We've got plenty of time.
15 on the clock. Once this is done, we just need that one more fingerprint. And look where the ambassador is.
Yeah, a statue that's not going to get you that much late heat if they're on the inspects, and you got to assume they are on this setup. Cartwright with a pretty good option here if you want to go finish it.
Well, flirt is now done. We still have to get rid of this book. But no, we don't have to get rid of the book after all, because the shot comes off, and Cartwright comes off to an early lead.
Yeah, and that's just standard high-rise. That's done with inspects. The banana bread's gone off, and I'm going to credit flirt, whether it could be done or not. In this case, though, I actually don't like the timing of the shot. There's a shot as soon as they approach statues, before they even do anything. You have, since they haven't even picked it up yet, you have 13 to 14 seconds here. And there's a really good chance that in that 13 to 14 seconds, the spy, as it turns out, is going to have to make a similar decision. And what do you do if Irish approaches statues there for the fingerprint? Then at least you have that choice, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have to wait the full 10 or 12. You want to be safe, I get it. But you wait at least until they've picked it up. Wait a couple seconds. Force someone else to make that decision, maybe. Maybe the spy sees you not shooting them immediately and thinks it's not going to work, and then they do something desperate. You never know.
Either way, Cartwright with the early 2-0 advantage as JY steps back into the spy role in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Missions stay the same. Let's see if they play it any different, though. Nope, blue bookshelf again. Blue bookshelf, so popular today.
But this time before the fingerprint goes hot there.
See, it's the point to your temple meme. They can't catch it for fingerprint if there's no fingerprint on it.
Aha.
Yeah, they might be overthinking it just a little bit there. Maybe.
Oh no.
Oh no,
the
that was a
pathing.
twitch. Yeah, a little bit of a twitch there. General obstructed.
Yeah, the fact that we're not dead already means that we got away with that one.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Taking his time on this first flirt here, you don't want to be seen insta-talking so close to a couple of people. Does hit the green test though, so 2 flirt is on the table, though completely unnecessary.
Yeah, totally unnecessary, except, and we do talk about this sometimes, when you do 2 flirt on these 3-5 variants, there's a chance to rush the missions and just basically force them to shoot for a potential 2 flirt, given how fast it goes. And people do not like to do that for obvious reasons.
Or if you're very careful and your opponent likes to count flirts,
Yep.
then you can
Oh, he's getting that
force
fingerprint
him
off that
into a
drink.
difficult decision.
He called that waiter over, and frankly, there was a bit of a redirect. I don't know if Cartwright's going to be on that or not, but that was very much a request while Toby was about to offer to, I think, a general off a fingerprintable drink. And there is still a fingerprint live on the far right statues as well.
Flirt is done. 2 flirt on the timer. That is a very powerful conversation for JY right now. He's got the 1 fingerprint in hand. The other one's hot, as you were saying. Still a minute and a half to play.
DA does not get in. If they get in this conversation, I would BB and go get that fingerprint immediately.
It's not easy for snipers to take an early shot in any situation. Maybe a little bit more so on a map like this, because you can get done pretty quickly. Here's the contact about to come off, I'm pretty sure.
Sure seems like it.
Banana bread.
And now the green book has a print as well. You got some options here, but that statue print has been sitting there for a minute and a half. That's the better option here.
Assuming he knows it's still there.
Assuming JY knows, yeah, but the fact that JY might not know is also why Cartwright might know.
Absolutely. 45 seconds now. Still plenty of time, but we're going to have to pick a destination.
Yeah, nobody's been shot, and there have been very few statue visitors.
It's gonna be green bookcase. The briefcase is still there to display the ambassador's presence. Fingerprint has come off. I'm not seeing any reaction from Cartwright here.
Nope.
I think JY has just gone on the board.
Yeah, there it is. My guess is did not notice the drink print. That's my best guess. That explains why the laser was totally uninterested in that print. And again, that was the more recent print of the two on the right side. The fresher print, fairly visible there, but didn't even really seem at all interested in anyone going over there at all. My guess is that drink print was free, and they didn't think anyone was about to finish.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice stuff coming from JY there. Those drink prints can be difficult to catch. It's so easy to not be looking for them.
And here's a nice little wrinkle, too. That's one of the side effects of turning off Purloin. You're giving the sniper a reason to forget about the list altogether, and therefore the drinks, and therefore the occasional print. And this time, it swings a huge game for JY.
Absolutely. JY on the sniper side now playing to tie things up at 2. This is where you want to be. Cartwright as Smallman as the spy in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
You can't convince me that Smallman isn't always the spy. If you told me Smallman was always the spy, I'd go, that might be a slight exaggeration, but it's pretty much true.
You're not wrong.
He's sneaky.
Seduction target bails before the contact can come off, but once again, we've got plenty of time for it. Might be in a good position for a sneaky reverse drive-by bug if the ambassador goes the right direction.
I mean, why be Smallman and why be standing where you are right now and not think about a bug? That's kind of why you would do that.
Absolutely. Well, now we're too exposed. Now we can't do it. We've lost our cover.
Doesn't take a lot of cover, but you need some.
Yeah. And the plant is too far to the left.
The plant about twice Smallman's size, I would say.
Yep. Perfect cover. All right, we're going for the fingerprint here off the briefcase.
Pretty straightforward. And sometimes you have these situations where you kind of have to, or would have to if you were an AI anyway.
I so wanted him to grab that drink for the second fingerprint. I so wanted it to happen.
Well, if you get a reject from General here, I don't get any indication that Cartwright knows there's a print on it. Let's see. No call.
49% on the first flirt. Is in range for a 2 flirt, but not from this position.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. It would actually be better to leave and come back at this point.
Banana bread.
Maybe.
Oh no! This double agent bails on the contact!
That's really rough. And by the way, Irish was at center statues while this was happening. You got to be pretty desperate for a banana bread, I think, to want to knock out a center statue visitor on High Rise 3-5. That's a big no-no.
Oh no, it's all falling apart for Cartwright. That one moment was such a big problem. Now he gets it as the double agent re-enters, but we're not in position for the 2 flirt. We don't hit the green test anyway, so we're at 83%. 1 minute to play. We need a seduce, we need a fingerprint, and we are one of 4 possible spies.
Yeah,
3 highlights.
The first banana bread knocked out a highlight. The second knocked out another highlight, a twin, as it turns out. And now it's way narrowed down. Cartwright has partial progress. They had a chance, I think, at a free print earlier. They're going to have to get another one, though. And oh boy, look at this. The ambassador is at center statues, but do you dare go to a printable center statue on High Rise with less than 30 seconds left as a high-lit Smallman? Could you get shot more than once?
We might have to try. Flirt cooldown has gone off. It's 15 seconds. Was not enough time now. Section target steps away. Now there's definitely not enough time. It's going to be overtime if the shot doesn't come off, but it does!
Wow!
JY just needed a few more seconds of patience, but Cartwright's decision not to finish missions winds up winning him the game.
It looked like terrible luck that the seduction target was leaving, but it turns out it's not because A, they're a highlight, and B, they walked right by the ambassador as the time was running down. It was exactly the kind of thing a desperate spy does. At that point, it's on the sniper to just be confident enough that no bug took place, but if you don't get a good look at it, the circumstances alone make it so hard to hold that shot.
That hurts for JY. That is a big loss. And, like, down 3-1 isn't, like, that's far from insurmountable, but, man,
it's a
rough
tough
way to
position
go
be.
down in the first map.
Yeah, you got to imagine that's pretty much the only thing that could have plausibly happened there that was going to win that game for them.
Yeah. Sometimes the AI just does that stuff.
Don't I know it?
Next up is going to be Gallery, probably the most deceptively sized map in the game. It doesn't look big, but it is.
Yeah, it's huge. It doesn't look big until your seduction target bails and you start to chase them, or you're trying to rush a time at the end, and then in that case you realize, oh my god, this place is huge.
And you just run out of time so fast on this map.
Yeah, it makes you wish there was a hold shift to sprint option in this game sometimes.
Oh my god. Just
Can you imagine?
high profile. Alright, well, JY from behind opening Gallery on the spy side. Cartwright on the sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And boy, what a start for Cartwright. Their first ever SCL match, JY. Their third season, I believe.
Yeah.
And their first above bronze after spending 2 seasons there.
JY opening the game on the green statues, although not in the position the spies usually go to.
No, not usually. There's no cover there. Usually you get a lot of natural cover from the conversation if you go to the far right, but sometimes you'll get a highlight just for standing there. It's suspicious, so JY might say, you know what, I'm okay doing some stuff with this book. I don't want the early highlight, though.
This is very true.
And this is, by the way, JY's 23rd SCL match, Cartwright's first. It's not quite the disparity we saw on yesterday's cast, but it's pretty big.
It is indeed. Although we are doing the spy move of grabbing a book and taking it outside.
Yeah, 2 reasons to do this. One is that you figure they're going to be zoomed in and you could do a manual microfilm removal, which is not what JY is doing, as we can see. The other is it's almost like money laundering. You take the book outside and it's like the book is clean now.
Yeah.
You know, now you don't know where it came from. It's just a gray book again, and now you can safely put it in blue, which is usually the plan. JY thinks better of it, says, no, I'm just going to waste a whole bunch of time in this venue that they were just saying doesn't have enough time.
Yeah.
Are you going for a lowlight here? That's the question. Do you really know Cartwright that well in their first SCL match to assume that this is the kind of thing you're going to get lowlight for? Maybe.
Looked like you wanted to flirt, but put the book away instead. Now he's sitting at statues for a pair of inspects a minute in. And this is the first progress we're getting.
Now, here's the thing. You could still finish in Gallery, of course, in 2 minutes. But it's the kind of thing where the party's going to have to cooperate or at least not fight you. If the party fights you, 2 minutes is not enough. On the other hand, when the party helps you, a minute is more than enough.
It's one of those maps.
And what is JY
Back
shooting
into
for
green
here?
bookcase once again. Third visit to this particular spot.
Yeah, this is starting to feel like a very deliberate choice. I'm not sure I follow it. So maybe they know a little more something about Cartwright than I do.
Ooh, nice little bug coming through in the back.
I mean, it's Gallery. You're going to have the bug paths, right? I would say there was a little bit of an arm trail there, but not as bad as you'd normally get from Teal either.
And the book is back outside again.
These are the cleanest books in the world.
Stepping into the double agent to pick up that contact. That's a lot of lowlights.
Yeah, and I'm really impressed by Cartwright getting most of them too. That's good. They got them fast.
A lot of that was not that easy to spot, but
No.
Cartwright.
It was
Doing a
nice
good
that
job of it.
3 of them were like bunched near each other, and that's nice because you can just, when there's nobody else around like that, you can just spam that right click button and you get through them a lot quicker than normal and get back to watching the rest of the party.
Pretty good bouncing on the way back in.
Let's see the book. Here we go. No, doesn't want to do it yet. 3 shells.
The laser's right there. It's like, come on, bring it to blue. I dare you.
I do this on Ballroom all the time when someone takes the book and goes to the shelf right
No,
next to
but
them.
the shot comes off, and JY suddenly gets gifted one.
I don't know if that should have worked, although I gotta say, while it isn't Smallman, have Taft with a late statue visit on gallery and they're back to the sniper,
Yeah.
that sets off alarm bells, for sure. I don't know if they were going to finish, though. Let's assume they dump that book, and let's assume they get away with it completely clean. You're not going to finish the deuce. Clearly what's going to happen there is an inspect, a second statue visit at the end of the game. You're going to have maybe 15 seconds there, right? You're going to maybe just barely avoid overtime. If they don't shoot Taft, they're shooting Teal.
Yeah.
But it happens again, right? Hold it off. Expect Cartwright to find somebody they like in the end of the game. It works again.
It does indeed, and JY, once again on the sniper side, within striking distance of Cartwright here, as Cartwright steps into the spiral, this time as Bling Twin. Are we ready to go?
All set, Will?
Yes, we are. Sorry. I was playing around too much. Go on.
Let's get this thing underway in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I really like that JY and Cartwright each did that. Basically the same idea.
Yeah.
JY said, well, it burned me in the last game. Well, maybe my opponent will make the exact same mistake, and they do.
Picking up that early 51% on the flirt at a painting is very, very nice on this map because seduction can be hard.
Yeah, I actually don't mind rushing the flirt, especially on a painting pad on this one. And Cartwright, emboldened by the early advantage, is going to get one of the inspect visits knocked out real quick, too.
Progress, progress, progress.
Rushes can be effective on gallery. I mentioned earlier, though, the distinction between the party working with you and fighting you. A rush on gallery when the party is not fighting you can absolutely work. Everyone's internal clock on gallery says that it's going to be hard for them to finish without zipping around a lot, but when things line up nicely, it's possible and very hard to shoot for.
We had a lot of cover there for a moment with both Toby and Sam in danger, but now we're really exposed at the green bookcase here.
Yeah, same thing. They really are imitating each other, aren't they?
Yeah, seems that way.
Blue bookshelves, the general spy strategy, and now, apparently, green on the far left, and not doing anything with it.
But at least not taking it on a journey first.
Yeah, not taking the book out for a stroll. The books are just bored. They just need to get outside once in a while.
Stepping back into the conversation next to the other twin.
You hit this green, you have so many options.
Seduction target does not hit the green. 85% is where we stand, just under 2 minutes.
Yeah, and it looks like both twins are flirting with Alice there. It's deja vu getting hit on there. I don't know if the tie clip is going to be enough to convince her. I don't think that's enough of a difference to try again.
The other twin, the ultimate wingman.
Yes, right, the ultimate wingman. It's like, no, I already rejected the other one. I don't care. I don't care that you have a ring. I really don't.
Oh no! Not able to sneak into conversation there. It looks like there's a gap, but wasn't able to make it happen. Now there's definitely a spot. Now there's definitely multiple spots.
And there's the highlight for it. It's a little delayed, and you can do some awkward gallery stuff. You can stop.
Things were going so well. Oh, the green time ad though. As soon as JY looks away.
So this is just down to JY. Are they going to catch the green time ad or not? Are they going to look for it or not? Are they good at catching green time ads? That'll vary a lot from sniper to sniper. It's entirely possible to work. Nope.
Caught the time ad.
Yep. I think saw the pathing, was already super suspicious, and the time ad's just a nice confirmation. Wow, that game started pretty promising, and as you can see, basically nothing happened after the first couple moves.
Yeah, it started off strong, and then it all fell apart outside when wasn't able to slip into that conversation, and now we are tied at 3. JY has brought it back, stepping back into the spy shoes once more. In 3, 2, 1, play it.
JY flirting with someone other than their seduction target decides, nope, no point in that. But I'm not sure where they're going because their seduction target is a green shelves.
He wanted to try this new contact at Windows feature. That's not a thing, by the way. In case I confused anybody. You can't do that.
No, sadly. Well, JY's not wasting too much time here. At least now you get to see where Blondeau goes and size up your next move. Ambassador's not in a very buggable position.
Stepping into blue bookcase to grab a book, it looks like.
Now, do you think we're going to see some actual microfilm here, or are these two just really voracious readers?
Going for briefcase? Oh man, there was a party around that one. I don't think I've ever seen 3 on a single briefcase before.
I was really hoping their heads would hit. That would have been cool. It almost happened.
It was close. But now a lot of time burned by this point. We're down to 2 minutes and 10 and no progress other than book in hand, which we're almost have to put away at green at this point.
JY is not spending nearly enough time at any of these pads, but I sort of understand it. It's gallery, and you're against Cartwright. You don't know if Cartwright's going to notice that or not, or even care. Instead, we are going to get this book put in the green shelf.
Left side of green.
I don't see any suspicion from Cartwright here. I think they're watching the Ambassador very closely because the Ambassador is very vulnerable right now.
Yeah, that came off clean, and now we're in a position to bug. Not bug, contact.
But here's the thing. If someone said, I'll give you microfilm for free on gallery, but you're going to start with 140, would you take that?
No, God, no.
I don't think you would. Not quite. It took a little too long.
Green purloin, though. We'll see what comes of this.
And I think Cartwright's still watching that Amba. I think there's a chance they got away with this, especially if you get a little bit of a reject chain going. You're not gonna.
Quick take. There's the fade. It was right on camera.
I don't know how confident they're going to be about this fade.
Not very confident about the fade. It looks like not very confident at all as the shot comes off and JY gets 3 in a row.
Yeah, Wodar, if we could take a quick look at that fade from the sniper side, you can see the way the tray moves, the fade kind of happens around the end, and it's just a little hard to be sure it was green, and a highlight took it too, by the way. That's better than a reject chain sometimes. In this case, it's more than enough. Yeah, wow. No banana bread, by the way.
Yeah, no banana bread at all. Enough to give JY the game and the lead against Cartwright. And JY is on the sniper side. In 3, 2, 1, play it.
3 in a row from JY comes roaring back. That competitive experience maybe making itself known and manifested in the score. And Cartwright's got to stop the bleeding.
Opening up with an early green purloin at painting.
I think this is going to totally work.
I think so too. I love this play. Picking up a flirt off the back of it, not slowing down. Hasn't been taken yet.
No, has been flirt paired though. That's really interesting. That might save JY by the end of this. We'll see, but I like the aggression and I think that's going to work. Still no purloin.
List is still there.
There haven't really been rejects. There have been people who've moved right as they were getting offered multiple times, I think. Does not see the fade at all. It's behind Blondeau's head. And Cartwright, if you are on it, you need to know who took that list, and you need to make sure they are in for banana bread badly.
I don't even know if he's seen it yet.
I don't think so. Wait for a zoom. When you get a zoom, they're going to get a very unpleasant reaction.
Fingerprint on blue book. There's the zoom. There he sees it.
The double zoom in disbelief.
There's the low light.
Wow, yep, there's no way. And they're going to think it's Irish or sorry, probably.
What an opening salvo from Cartwright here. Takes the low light, has a flirt, has a fingerprint, has a statue visit just now as well. This is looking good with 2 minutes left to play.
Almost as important as the low light is the fact that Cartwright is doing missions. They are assuming it worked. What you have so often is you think they're going to shoot, you want them to shoot, you don't do missions, especially on gallery where it's easy to time out. But if Cartwright is committed to getting missions done, they probably win.
Plenty of time to work with. Stepping back into blue bookcase here. No reason to rush now.
Now, there's a couple things you can do that still get yourself shot here, but if you are at all subtle, you're going to win. Your time's ticking away a little bit, though. This bookshelf visit worries me a little bit here.
Just puts the blue book away. We still only have the one completion in 1:10 to play. We do have a lot of progress, but we don't even have a second flirt yet.
No, this is big trouble, and Cartwright seems a little tentative. I actually don't think they know their low lit, or maybe they don't suspect it enough, and that is potentially trouble because Sari has not budged, and Irish is out front with no SDA.
Into conversation we go. 67% on the flirt. 50 seconds to play. We're under a minute now. Here comes the double agent. Are we going to get him in conversation? Doesn't look like we are. The ambassador doing it. The bug doesn't even go for it. Looked like a big possibility there. But now time is really starting to run down. We're about to come into the beep beeps. And still only the one completion.
Yeah, this is pretty rough. I don't even know what you can do here. Inspect, swap, rush a fingerprint, seduce, whatever it is. It's just so risky, but the two suspects have just not really done anything. There's the fingerprint.
Low
Gets
light
back
to
up.
highlight from the inspect and the fingerprint coming up at the
And the
same
flirt.
time.
He's got a paired
Needs
again.
flirt. Does he get it? He does get the flirt, but it's not quite in time. Look at the laser positioning.
He's
He's
thinking
gonna
about it.
dance.
He's
I
thinking.
think we have to take the shot.
can't do
1
it.
second of overtime, but he doesn't get the shot.
Oh my goodness!
And Cartwright sneaks one by the skin of his teeth.
The flirt pairing at the beginning of the game almost saves it at the end. He remembers the early pairing. They're flirting again on the same pad as the beginning, the late statue visit, and the flirt pairing almost turns it around and salvages the low light. Cartwright just gives it off. 1 or 2 seconds more of overtime, and JY wins that.
JY thought he had an extra half second on the clock from that flirt. You see him land there, you check up at the clock, and that motion of just noticing it and then looking up, a half second is gone by that point.
Yes, yeah, and it turns out that's the difference. It happened right on the line. If it happens with maybe a second later, he's gonna shoot him. The laser was following him around, waiting for something. Absolutely incredible. First of all, tough loss for JY, but incredible to bring them back like that. A great game by both players. Oh my goodness.
I'd just like to point out that they had like almost zero time to shoot when the overtime beats started happening.
Yep, yeah, no, none at all. They were counting on a full second maybe, and they didn't get it, and that was incredible. That was just such a well-played game on both sides, really. That's such a brutal, difficult green purloin to catch. Great snipers will miss that semi-regularly, so no problem there. Cartwright plays a good aggressive game. I think if Cartwright can just finish a little bit earlier, doesn't waste that time at blue bookshelves, then maybe they don't have such a dramatic win, but they still got the win.
Just the fact that JY got back into that game is incredibly impressive, but Cartwright holding on 4-4 after the first pair of maps. We're coming down to it now. We've got 2 games on Courtyard coming up next. JY starting things off on the spy side. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Probably a little less drama on Courtyard, although I don't want to speak too soon. These players have a way of making every game dramatic, it turns out. That was really something, though, man.
Man, what a game.
Yeah, very impressive. Do not sleep on JY, man. You're not safe when you're low lit. And Cartwright, when you pull off those really, really great early green purloins, I think a part of you has to operate as if you're low lit.
I think so. JY starting off nice and slow. Gets 37% off of his first flirt on a green test, but it's still plenty.
Yeah, it's a decent start, and it's Courtyard, There was a pretty good chance there, obviously not for an action.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Oh, no.
Diving on that right as Seek slips through. I don't know if it was enough to block it properly, but just a bold in-your-face bug like that can often get away. And having Turban there for that brief little bit of cover, man, oh man, that is a veteran move.
Yeah, so it is visible on screen. You can see the hand for sure, but it wasn't just the occlusion from the character walking by. It was as the sniper was rotating too. That's just a lot of moving parts. You know, the
Yeah.
human eye is not great at differentiating like that when there's so much movement. It's just a good opportunistic bug. It's high risk, of course, but if you play a solid game now, you're probably going to win. JY just needs to make steady progress here.
That puts JY way out in front, 71% on the flirt. Hasn't spent the statue yet, and didn't hit the green test on the fingerprint, so he's a little bit behind the curve now.
Yeah, you got to get moving. Hurry up, get those inspects in. Looks like they want to go banana bread first.
May as well. You can't always count on the contact being available late in the game.
There's nobody out of conversation. You got to do it now. This is perfect.
This is your moment, JY.
Banana bread.
Okay, one
out.
person out of conversation now, but you take those.
Yeah, you're not going to do much better than that. Get in there on those statues before the beeps, and then go finish your seduce.
Absolutely. 40 seconds left to play, picking up the statue. This is going well. It's been a slow game, but as soon as we hit that bug, we were in a great position as JY. There's the highlight. It's not going to be enough.
No, and he took so long. He is absolutely staring down this ambassador. He is worried about bug, which means he has no idea bug is done.
Absolutely no idea. 15 seconds. You got to hit that flirt now. Oh, no!
This is why you don't wait.
On it.
Banana bread.
Gotta chase, and it's
Accidentally hit a contact instead of the flirt. 5 seconds. It's going to be overtime.
he's gonna move. He's gonna move.
He goes for the flirt. He gets the flirt.
Whoa.
It's 8 seconds. 8 seconds of overtime. But the wrong shot comes off. And
Wow.
JY cut it a lot closer than he had to, but it works out.
Oh my goodness, Smallman is at the window at 10 seconds and stays there a full 8 seconds. It's not a crazy high amount, but the AIs will often leave before that. He decides to rush the flirt anyway at the end, and it's just enough.
And all of that time without a watch check or a sip or anything.
Yeah, that's very unusual. Yeah, when he didn't watch check, I thought, oh boy, he's going to bail on him again. This is going to be absolutely brutal. But he stayed there just a little bit longer than you'd expect, and he gets the win right in. And I told you these spies were imitating each other, did I not?
Yeah.
And JY says, how do you like it with these last second flirts?
Just to point out, I believe General got shot because it can kind of look like he did a bug path. Or at least you can see, like, retroactively thinking that it was a bug path when the beeping starts.
Fair enough. I mean, honestly, anything like that, anyone near a mission site at all at the end of the game, sure. You know, when you hear the beeping start, you got to do something like that. So you really can't fault the shot.
Yeah. Oh man, this is picked up in a hurry. Man, oh man, these last couple of games have been insane. JY up 5-4 at this point. One more will guarantee him at least a draw, as Cartwright is looking to hold off JY from the spy side in 3, 2, 1, play it.
Yeah, absolutely wild consecutive finishes here.
51% on the early flirt from Cartwright.
It's a nice early start, and oh no, an early white purloin.
Oh no, it
Banana
was
bread.
white. It was white, but
Totally behind their own head, though, and
Yeah.
JY is not confident that they didn't miss a reject. They are going to take their lowlights, a few very good ones, actually.
whole bunch, very good lowlights, a whole bunch of highlights. Actually, the highlights are coming down now because you can tell JY's really not sure about this.
Yeah, now knocked out 3 statue visitors early trying to distract from that. I actually don't think that made sense. They were hoping to distract from the realization a purloin had taken place, but they'd already seen it, so it was just free highlights. And those are actually particularly brutal, not just because they're statue visitors, but because green purloin into statues for when it goes off, classic spy move. So I think
Yeah.
in that case, the white purloin was actually not as bad as they'd thought. The banana bread made it much worse.
But look at this, already 3 missions done. We've got the contact, we've got the flirt, we've got the purloin. We still have 1 minute and 45 on the clock.
Yeah, but at this point, you're almost saying, you know, I have 2 or 3 people maybe I suspect of this a little bit more than the others, and I know for a fact that Alice is the one who actually took the list, And now it's just a game of chicken. Who's going to go to statues?
Interestingly enough, though, Alice never got highlight, even in that initial salvo.
Yeah, very interesting. So maybe not the bigger suspect, but if none of the remaining neutral lights go, and certainly neither Walt or Twin there, Cartwright's going to have to go and probably go late. Although we've already seen 2 games where the spy said, no, I'm just not going to do anything in the last 10 seconds, and it worked out anyway.
All you need are a pair of inspects to finish missions at this point. 1 minute to play.
I think, honestly, if they'd rushed statues a little earlier because of how quickly that flirt went, I think that might have worked. But now you're in the last minute.
I agree.
You're in the last minute now, and suddenly it's very dangerous, and you're just waiting. Again, it's the game of chicken with the AI.
Here we go, stepping in the statue. Does JY take this shot?
Oh, you can see him considering
There's
it.
the highlight, that's a bad sign!
He's thinking about it. The laser's right there.
He's definitely considering. Mission win countdown is underway at this point. I don't think he's gonna pull the trigger on it. 1 second left, and Cartwright is keeping pace.
I don't think the decision there, the meta decision of the timing was good. But it turns out JY just not at all confident about that purloin. Look at how many people are still listed there as suspects potentially. That's just way too many. And at that point, the next person to go to statues might actually be less suspicious.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to be the next one to go to statues. The spy doesn't want to do that. And kind of crazy that it didn't happen before then, but Cartwright determines that they don't want to risk it again at the end of the game and wins it with a white purloin on Courtyard. You don't see that much.
Yeah, losing to a white purloin on Courtyard hurts as Sniper. That does not feel good. Let's see how JY takes this moving into Taen. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Are we actually going to have a calm Taen game? I don't believe it.
Well, it's starting off that way. Hanging out up front, windows, just taking a sip of the drink. Now stepping into center statues next to the seduction card. It picks up 34% on the flirt, and will likely get all 3 inspects here.
Well, here's the thing. 4 people had already been to statues. Might as well lean into that.
Barely gets away. It was... actually gets highlight for just a bare frame of moving into the next cycle, I think. Might have been. Also might have just been for center statues. It's hard to say.
Yeah, maybe. Hard to say. And if you use the highlights for Taen, it's a little tricky because you're going to have people behind the shoji a lot. You're not going to have a good at-a-glance sense of who your suspects are or where they are. And you have to remember whether they're actually done with their inspects or not. That's the tricky part.
Grabs an innocent drink and a flirt to bring us up to 68%.
And you're just going to have so many opportunities here. There's going to be so many bug opportunities, a lot of fingerprint opportunities if you want to go that way. So it's funny because you can be in the last minute of the game, and even we as casters, knowing who the spy is, can have no idea if they have any intention of finishing or how, because there's so many choices.
Toby unfortunately body blocks the ambassador from getting bugged just then, but still plenty of time on the clock, and it was in a position where it was almost impossible to see. Minute and 35 left on the clock as the flirt gets finished up as well.
Yeah, I wish you could copy and paste actual audio files for casts, because I would love to put on my clipboard the phrase, bug attempt on Taen, doesn't take, but don't worry, it's not seen.
Indeed. Contact comes off. We've got a pair of lowlights. Starting to come down to it a little bit here, down to 1 minute to play. Another drink offering from Toby. This time takes it. It's a white purloin at the end of the game. Hard to see the tray. Goes behind the Soji. 5 seconds.
Visible.
Now it's visible. There's the shot. And Cartwright is the man who hits match point.
Wow. After all that, and it's almost, I hate to say bad luck that the list was visible. That sounds like such a silly sentence, but on Tayen, it really turns on that a lot. There were actually 2 quick moments where Cartwright could have seen it was gone, and then they got a clear one at the end, too, just in time. You really are not going to get a better look at it than that at the end of the game. I think JY played that very solid, especially with all those early statue visitors. They just didn't do enough, and Toby was not a very willing accomplice this time.
Indeed. And now, after all the drama from earlier on, it all comes down to this. JY, on the sniper side of Tayen, fighting for a draw. Cartwright, on the spy side, for the win of the set. In 3, 2, 1, playing it. Reserved start from Cartwright, hanging out in conversation, taking a sip of a drink. Nothing fancy going on early. As section target comes to say hi, we get a white test for 26%. Alright, going for the double fingerprint here off the statue. Does he get nicked by the double agent? Well, it's not going to hang around to find out. Just takes the one fingerprint and steps in for the second seduce. Hits a green on this one, brings him up to 77%, and takes a drink innocently off the back of it.
I joked earlier about a quiet Tayen game. I think we're actually getting one.
Yeah.
I don't mind it at first, and we've talked before, we talked in the Tayen tournament a little bit about how you can make just a little bit of progress like this, partial flirt, partial fingerprint, and then in the last 80 or 90 seconds, you can sort of just flip a switch and decide to complete missions, and it doesn't look that suspicious. You don't have to zoom around that much.
The walking distances on this map are very, very small. Minute and 30, and Cartwright gets moving. There's the bug coming through to the back.
I mean, I want to say it's a bug path, but which character hasn't taken a bug path?
Bug path on this map.
Yeah.
That was a clean bug.
Yeah, I mean, you're in the mental file for could have bugged. It's just that you have a lot of company.
Banana bread.
Contact comes off. 1 minute to play. We have one flirt and one fingerprint to go.
I think the ambassador was at a bookshelf earlier. I think it might have been the front one. I don't know if there's still a print there, but it doesn't feel like they've touched much since that briefcase.
Well, if so, it'll be difficult now because the seduction target just left that bookcase. Now stepping into statues for this flirt.
Before the pickup, but it doesn't seem like it's noticed. Here's the question. You can't inspect here. Do you just swap instead, or are you going to go statue to statue right afterwards?
Well, we're about to find out because we only have 20 seconds on the clock. Goes to the back. Is he looking for a time ad here?
What is this about? Oh, a second and a half at Windows. You're going to rush to the briefcase instead.
Goes to the fingerprint. It's not going to be in time. There it is. Gets it off. Sniper's not paying too much attention. Now he sees it. The shot comes off, and JY holds on for the draw.
Wow, look at this. Mission's completed with 7.2 seconds left. So, a few seconds of overtime, those few seconds may be the difference when they go to Windows instead of right to the briefcase.
Yeah, I think so.
The sniper did not actually shoot until the very end there. Oh, wow. I think they were on it anyway, but I just think they took a little too long there. And that's a tie.
Yeah. That was one of the more dramatic ties we've seen.
Yeah, that was two cars slamming into each other at 60 miles an hour and stopping dead, both of them, dead even, 6-6. JY plays their first silver match and ties it. Cartwright plays their first SCL match ever and ties it. I guess you have to say Cartwright pretty well placed and JY right where they need to be. An incredibly entertaining set. Some really high level play. Oh my.
Wow.
High level play from all sides.
Also, yeah, and I say this, I sound like a broken record. I know you all, and we don't like to see people lose games. We want to see people win them. That gallery game, and to a lesser extent, the courtyard game after it, that's what that was. It was just a really well-played spy game where a sniper almost catches them anyway. That's what you like to see. And it was an absolute pleasure to watch. Hats off to both players.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And let me set up our next game, which is